I think surreal is a good word for it. Doesn't feel real when you're looking at it.
Tonight, a local father describes losing his home in the Upriver Fire, how he is leaning on the community and his faith to navigate what's next. And we will have the latest updates on the Meade High School hazing trial. Tonight, how the case is unfolding.
Our pattern of warm and dry weather continues, and I'm tracking gorgeous weather for the weekend, including sunshine and low 80s for Father's Day and the first day of summer on Sunday.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We start tonight with the Upriver Fire that continues to burn in the Beacon Hill area and the Northwood area of Spokane. As of last check, that fire is burning at 217 acres. Crews have it at 10% containment. We've also learned that 12 structures have been lost while others are still threatened. Level 3 go now and level 2 get set evacuations are still in place at this hour. And in the last 24 hours, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office confirming that possible human remains were found inside a home that was destroyed in the fire. KREM 2's Regan Gallo joining us now from the Incident Command Post in Meade with the latest.
Well, I have reached out to the Spokane County Sheriff's Office to receive more clarity on the possible human remains, though they got back to me and said they do not have more information at this time and that the investigation continues. What we learned in the last 24 hours is that around 2 p.m. Wednesday, fire and law enforcement officials discovered what appears to be human remains at one of the homes destroyed in the fire. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says family members requested a welfare check Tuesday night after reporting that a resident had refused to evacuate. Earlier Wednesday, before officials announced the discovery of possible human remains, Spokane County Sheriff John Knowles warned about the dangers of people refusing to evacuate during the fire.
If people decide they want to stay and shelter in place, that does create risk for them.
Reportedly, deputies were able to make contact with that person, but officials still say they refused to leave. As the fire moved rapidly through the area, crews made additional attempts to contact the person inside the home, but conditions became too dangerous and responders were forced to pull back as the home became engulfed in flames. Again, the Sheriff's Office says the investigation is ongoing. KREM 2 News has reached out to the Spokane County Medical Examiner's Office for more information about the possible human remains and if there is an identity, though we have not received a reply. For now, I'm reporting at the Incident Command Post in Meade. Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
When we talked about it, he said, well, that was the place where I learned how to ride a bike, or
Tie my shoe.
that was where I learned how to tie my shoe.
That's a conversation a local dad had with his son in the moments after learning their home had burned to the ground in the Upriver Fire. And tonight we are getting a clearer picture of that fire's impact. Dozens of families remain evacuated and several lost their homes. Earlier today, I spoke with one of those families who are trying to figure out what's next. In just a matter of minutes, John Schuler's home was reduced to rubble.
It sounds like a cliche, but it was so fast. You think that you've got time to prepare, yeah.
The place he, his wife, and sons have called home for 7 years, gone. Taken on Tuesday by the fast-moving Upriver Fire that tore through the Northwood neighborhood. This is cell phone video he took the next day.
I think surreal is a good word for it. Doesn't feel real when you're looking at it. We stared at these wires for a long time before realizing, like, oh, that was the piano. But it had fallen through the floor and like stuff like that. It must have got real hot real fast.
On Tuesday, John says he and his son were at home building a deck when his son smelled smoke. Moments later came the alerts to evacuate. Then deputies cruising their street telling people to get out.
It might sound crass. I thought it wouldn't reach our house. I was worried about the lower homes closer to the fire. As we drove away, I stopped and looked back and thought, it's too green, it's not gonna burn.
In the scramble to leave, he says he grabbed birth certificates and passports and not much else. He says his family stayed the night with friends. It wasn't until the next day that he learned their house had burned down. It still hasn't fully sunk in.
Kind of forgetting, and then have a like, oh, I can't go pick up that thing. I can't just swing by the house and grab that thing that I need right now because it's not there anymore.
Despite the enormous loss, John is thankful they're all safe and thankful for his community. He's a part-time pastor at a local Christian church, and he is leaning on his congregation and his faith to navigate what's next.
I don't know how somebody could go through this process without a deep and abiding security that comes from faith in Christ. This is going to be a really hard season, a hard situation, but we trust God. He has never let us down before, and he's not going to fail us now.
John also wanted to thank firefighters. He says when they returned to their home for the first time after a burn, those firefighters were very kind and compassionate, he said. Right now, he's working with insurance as he hopes to rebuild. Meantime, fire officials will have 3 days of information sharing and local resources at Pasadena Park Church of the Nazarene. That started at 4 o'clock tonight. It will continue for another couple of hours until 7. There will also be 2 more events tomorrow and Saturday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Information at these events includes Upriver Fire updates, recovery and disaster assistance, and other services and resources. Well, just into our newsroom, we have new video of the crash that caused the death of 3 motorcyclists in Idaho. A Colorado woman is in the Idaho County Jail facing 3 counts of vehicular manslaughter after Idaho State Police say she caused a deadly crash near Kuski. Yesterday, 60-year-old Neely Brewer of Colorado Springs had her first court appearance. Court records show that Brewer illegally tried to pass a semi on a double yellow line. Witnesses told investigators that Brewer's pickup hit all 3 eastbound motorcycles head on. 2 of the motorcyclists were identified as members of the Larimer County Sheriff's Office in Colorado, and that's according to our Denver news partners. The motorcyclists have been identified as 35-year-old Ethan Powers, 45-year-old Jeremy Coleman, and 26-year-old Nathan McCormick. The crash remains under investigation. All right, let's get our first check of the forecast at this 5 o'clock hour with meteorologist Michelle Boss. She is joining us in the Outdoor Weather Center. Michelle, how is the weather today in terms of the fires that we're seeing around the region? Will crews get any help from Mother Nature?
A little bit of a relief from the wind because winds are generally light today and will be light tomorrow. We've had sustained winds 10 miles per hour or less, some slightly higher gusts, but certainly nothing like what we saw earlier this week, and actually even lighter winds are expected for tomorrow. But unfortunately, we're still looking at very warm and dry conditions, no chance of rain anytime soon, and we're seeing widespread 80s across the inland northwest, low 80s in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, even up north in North Idaho and Sandpoint. We've got upper, middle, and upper 80s across central Washington, even a couple of 90s to report at the 5 o'clock hour. A little bit cooler across the Palouse, temperatures in the 70s. But we do expect some elevated winds on Saturday, only about 25-mile-per-hour gust in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene area. But fire weather watch for the Okanagan Valley and the Kittitas Valley, looking for higher winds there and still very low humidity, very hot and dry conditions there. That is for Saturday. Otherwise, clear skies across the inland northwest. Clear skies expected for tonight as we fall down into the low to mid 50s, and then warm and sunny weather for the upcoming weekend. Father's Day, the first day of summer, looking good. 85 on Friday, 84 on Saturday, a little bit breezy, then those winds will come back down. Sunshine at 81 for Sunday.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much. Turning now to some of the other fires that we've been tracking across the inland northwest. The Gold Run fire just south of Kellogg is still threatening homes tonight. The fire is estimated to be at around 235 acres in size, and crews had that fire 20% contained at last check. Fire crews are still working to secure fire lines along the entire perimeter. All evacuation orders have been downgraded to level 2, so it's safe to return to your home, they say, but you must be ready to leave at a moment's notice. In southeast Washington, the Tucannon fire near Dayton is still burning at 7,700 acres. That fire is 10% contained. The fire is still threatening homes and critical infrastructure. However, there are no evacuations in place as of right now. And while no homes have been lost, some outbuildings were damaged on Tuesday. The cause of that fire remains under investigation. And near Omak, level 3 evacuations remain in place for the Cartar fire. Another wildfire burning nearby. Well, that's now merged with the Cartar fire, making the total size of that blaze approximately 7,500 acres. Right now, hotshot crews, bulldozers, and air crews are working to secure the fire lines. The fire is currently 0% contained. Level 3 go now evacuations are still in place for the Cartar Valley, and initial investigation has found that fire was human caused, but specifics are still under investigation. All right, right now we are taking a live look at where the Upriver Fire began on Tuesday, and later we'll bring you another update on the status of that fire and the effort to fight it. We're back in 3 minutes.